Hi, air signs. How is this Aquarius new moon treating you? It's been a pretty intense one. I don't know that I have much air in my chart, but I know that I had it as far as kind of the emotional stuff kind of hitting at the beginning of the week. And as I've told you guys before, I tend to have a lot of these energy shifts and these things that are coming in. I tend to have them happen kind of, before people um, in the mass collective. And I think it's so I can help kind of warn you guys um, what's happening. So I imagine if you're an air sign, especially if you are an Aquarius, you're probably feeling it pretty heavily right now. So just know that it will pass. And this is a really good time, I think, for change, to get out of your comfort zone, um, and to just cut away, with that sword energy, which is what you guys embody, to just pick up that sword and cut away things that are no longer serving your greatest good. So, um, I thank you for being here and for being my guinea pigs for this new installment of the forecast by element that I'm going to start doing monthly. You guys know for the New Year's readings, I started doing Vimeo as far as an extended version, of my readings, and I debated about doing that, but I was strongly guided by spirit to start doing that as a way to even out the energetic exchange and balance. And when you're giving too much of yourself freely, um, there's a belief, and I think it's valid, that if you give and give and give too much without an energetic exchange back, then it's kind of, you're devaluing yourself, not feeling that you're worthy, to charge for your services. So I'm trying to find a good balance of doing completely free videos, posts, things like that, and then doing this to where it can help me support and sustain, as far as my time and my business, the tarot cards that I buy for the channel, equipment. I know I keep saying I need to upgrade. I need to upgrade and get some more memory on this tablet so that I can start recording, longer videos for you guys, those types of things. It really does help me keep those types of things going forward. And also the Vimeo service itself, there is a fee for that, for me to help recoup any of those types of expenses. So I just really appreciate your guys' support. I'm always open to feedback of how you would like to see things go. I mean, obviously, I can't honor everybody's wishes, but if you have some suggestions for what, formatting and things like that you want to see, let me know. But what I'm planning on doing for now, it's going to be sort of similar to what I did for the Zodiac 2020, in that I'm going to pull a spread at first and take a look at the current energy, kind of see what's going on. And if you feel like I'm tapping into your situation, then obviously we're going to look into it more in depth in the extended. So there may be some things that um, come out as well. I will do a second spread in the extended with a different deck, so that, who knows what comes out then. Sometimes it's a completely different shift. I will take some notes as well to see, if there's things that jump out at me that I need to pull clarifiers on. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at the current energy for air signs. What's going on currently? This is the, totally blanking. I think it's the Angel Tarot. It's the first deck that the traditional tarot deck that I ever used. So it was calling me today. There were a few that were. So, guys, please use me as a clear channel. Messages for air signs. What's going on with air signs currently? Whoa, that's strong energy. Oh, that's not good. I don't like to see that card, you guys, but it could be due to the new moon coming out. Wow. Lots of air energy. That's in reverse. That's strange. Okay, wow. So, yeah, I mean, what I'm picking up on right away, I feel like for many of you, again, with this new moon being in Aquarius, and if you are an Aquarius or just any air in your chart, this energy could be pretty heavy for you. This new moon, and getting, just from what I've heard, but some things that are coming through now, it kind of has the energy of a super full moon. I mean, it's like causing a lot of purge, emotional purge, a desire to make change. I'm getting, swift change, cutting away things that are toxic and are no longer serving your greatest good. And I feel like in the last couple of weeks, some of you have really been picking up your sword. We've got the Queen of Air here, which is the Queen of Swords. And it's objective decision making, clearing away all that no longer serves you, seeing the humor in a situation. I don't know that I've heard that come out before, but I think, Queen of Swords energy, this is the card in the deck when, this card, she does not put up with bullshit. She does not put up, it's no nonsense. It's boom, cut you out, no explanation. I'm done. It's kind of like when you've reached the end of your rope and you're kind of just like, and maybe you have epiphanies. It could be epiphanies coming out, truths coming out about a situation that maybe you've been on the fence. I'm getting heavily a romantic situation here, but there is some, it could be with a job as well. But I'm getting more of a romantic or a friendship, familiar type relationship. This is somebody who's finally, I'm getting, seen the light and kind of like looking ahead and seeing, what the future holds, and realizing that there are certain people or situations that aren't part of this, this realm, this existence, right? I think that realization and subsequent actions of cutting that out, cutting that away, it's caused some heartbreak, no doubt. Three of Swords is one of the most painful cards in the deck. That's why I did not want to see it come out. It's not a card you really ever want to see come out. Great sadness, take time to heal, the need to forgive yourself or others. So, if you did finally have a realization or an epiphany about someone, maybe they weren't who you thought they were, maybe you just finally had enough and thought, all right, this person's not going to change. It's time for me to walk away. Of course, that's a very sad situation. It's very hard. And you might be feeling some regret as far as letting it go on as long as it did, feeling like, why did I waste time? And, I'm here to tell you it's easier said than done to believe it when you're in the situation, but time is never wasted. It's always a lesson. And the only regret you should have, honestly, is if you let yourself repeat it, right? Sometimes you have to, though. Sometimes you repeat the same cycles, even with different people, until you realize, oh, this is the same thing. And, the best advice I can give you is to just not let it take as long the next time. You guys know my story as far as me being in a situation, for 3 years, and then a similar thing, came into my life. It took me about 3 months to kind of be like, no, this isn't, I don't care if this seems to be divinely guided. It's a test. And then 3 weeks with the last one. So I don't have regrets in that. You can't. I mean, it's heartbreaking because you thought it was going to work out a certain way, but you've got to take the time to forgive yourself and I'm just getting, value the lesson. But, what's happening right now, whatever this is, it maybe isn't quite closed out because the blocking energy is the Ten of Swords. I mean, so that's a lot of swords. That's a lot of air energy right here, air signs. The end of a difficult situation, embrace the change, expect things to get better now. Could also be recovering from an addiction. This new moon is also definitely about making changes in patterns. Doesn't have to be with a relationship or a person. It could certainly be with an addictive behavior. This is a good time to make that change. So if you're struggling with that, just know that you're going to be on solid ground soon. I'm getting, because we've got the Page of Pentacles here. This is tangible, successful, good news. It can be financial, but it could just be solid, tangible progress is what I'm getting. But back to this, okay, so the Ten of Swords, I'm getting that, it's whatever the situation is, it's not quite over. So it's either that you literally just like ended it, or your sword is up and you're contemplating cutting the situation out, or you're not ready to let it go. So, I think this new moon, it makes sense that, that's the energy you're in right now. We're looking towards February. We're going to take a look, I think, and see. I'm just going to write down Ten of Swords. Maybe you're struggling with whether you want to end this cycle or not, or if this person's going to change. So we'll see what comes out in the extended in that regard. Ultimately, what you are wanting, you're wanting Two of Cups. That's what's so hard maybe to let this go, is that you thought this person was your divine partner. You thought this person, it could be a familiar relationship. This is a relationship that continues to grow closer, forgiveness, positive resolution of a conflict. You were hoping it was going to work out. You're still wanting it to work out. You're, hoping that you're trying to work through forgiving them. If there was some sort of a betrayal, a third party, maybe you're trying to decide, is this worth salvaging? So what we've got here, let me see what else we've got. It's interesting to me that we've got the Hierophant in reverse. So I think what I'm getting with that is that maybe you're not trusting your divine guidance enough. You're not listening. I feel like maybe your head and your heart want something to go a certain way. You want this with this person, and you're getting some divine guidance, maybe your intuition, your soul, and you're not listening to that. Unity, in the major arcana, it's the high priest, the Hierophant, the higher realms. It's definitely a spiritual awakening type card. So I think maybe there's some blocking going on of like the messages, because you're kind of stuck in the cycle of maybe knowing I know I need to move on from this. The situation is toxic. I really should get more on solid ground, but you just kind of keep hoping that it's going to resolve itself, because you can't bring yourself to let it go. So I feel like you're kind of at this crossroads of between what your head, I'm writing this down, sorry for the extended, between what your head and your heart want versus what your soul knows, is what I'm getting. But ultimately, I think you're going to take the path. At some point, something's just like, again, this Queen of Swords is about epiphanies, realizations. You're going to take the path, you're going to have the strength. You're going to have the strength here. The inner strength, forgiveness. I mean, we've had forgiveness come out. I don't know how many cards have talked about forgiveness. So you're either being asked to forgive someone for some sort of a betrayal, and you're not sure if you can do it because maybe it's not the first time they've done it, or you need to forgive yourself because you keep staying in the situation thinking, my gosh, how could I walk away from this? Maybe there's a marriage, maybe it's a long-term relationship or something like that. Like, I couldn't forgive myself if I didn't just give them a chance. And or maybe you're not forgiving yourself. There needs to be forgiveness for, like, quote, wasting time, that came out earlier. But whatever this is, I think deep down what you need to do, and you're going to get the strength. I'm getting that once you unblock your spiritual guidance and you start trusting your intuition, and again, we'll look at another spread and see what's coming in February, you are going to have the strength to find balance. Two of Pentacles, Two of Earth. This is where too much is going on at once, the need to make a decision. That's interesting because usually Two of Swords is kind of the crossroads card, but here it's about balance, and it's about knowing that to find balance in your life, you're actually going to have to communicate. It's to get on solid ground. You're going to have to stop going round and round and just finally say done. And I feel like when you make that decision, once you make that decision and communicate it, all this will happen very fast. Okay. And we've got the Eight of Wands. That's a communication card. Events moving at a fast pace, delays are over, many things happening at once. So, I think maybe part of the reason is there's fear, because once you make this, you communicate this, it's going to happen fast. And that's scary. But the thing is, the last card that you have as the outcome of this situation is the Empress, which is all about new beginnings. It's a major arcana. We've got 3 major arcana here. The Empress, lavish abundance, give birth to your dreams, nurture yourself and others. So this is about self-love, and this is about not feeling guilty about making yourself happy. That's definitely what I'm picking up on. And so that tells me there's a beautiful new beginning waiting. I think once you follow your heart and know what you need to do. So I was getting strongly guided, which is very odd. Not that I was strongly guided, but just these cards I never use. really. It's the wisdom of the hidden realms that there was a message for air signs. So we're going to pull that before we go to the extended and just see what it says. And then if this is resonating, then I encourage you to click the link below. It will be $7.77 on Vimeo. So let's see what message this deck has for air signs. The Chess Queen, trust, strategizing. Interesting, it's a 30, which the Empress is a 3. This reminds me a lot of the Queen of Air. Strategizing, trying to make a decision. It's like the chess piece. You're trying to decide what you need to do. And trust, it's about trusting your divine guidance. So we're going to go over to the extended. I'm going to look, I'm going to examine this card a little bit more. I'm actually going to look in the booklet and you know, get into what Colette Baron Reid says as far as what her take of this is. And then we're going to pull a spread for February and see what's coming with this situation and any other messages that come out. So if this does not resonate, then I encourage you to check out the other signs when I get those, or elements when I get those posted. And hopefully one of those will resonate for you. So hopefully I will see you guys over there. Either way, have a beautiful month.